All right, it looks like we are live. This is the Xbox 2 number 20, episode 20. Wow, 20 episodes in. Feels great. I am your host, Randall Thor 19, the man with the million. And with me, as always, my trusty sidekick, my co host, Jess Corden of Windows Central. What's up, buddy?
Hey, pal. How's it going, pal? Oh my god, why is Cortana firing up? Go away, Cortana. Yeah.
Cortana, get out of here. We don't need you right now, Cortana.
Not right now. Maybe later.
Hey, it's been a big week. You put up a YouTube video too, huh?
Yeah.
Look at you, Mr. YouTube.
Yeah, I've decided to take on PewDiePie. So watch this space.
Watch this space.
Yeah, I'll be the next PewDiePie. That's my plan.
Right. So we're 20 episodes in. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been using the new images that Sean Labrie made for us. You know, yeah. Jez ain't looking at me anymore, and I'm not grabbing his bum.
I like that person.
Into the back. So yeah, 20 episodes in. Really appreciate it. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff today, but mainly we're gonna be talking about the new dashboard update for the Xbox One, the guide, the new home screen, the new community stuff. Spotify on Xbox One, which a lot of people are interested in. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about Xbox One's significant visual boost over PS4 Pro. There's a developer that has mentioned that it is going to be very significant. Also, we're going to be talking some Lawbreakers numbers on PC. And oh boy, it looks like that game, should we call that Law Bombers, perhaps?
Ooh.
Cliffy. Oh, Cliffy. We got a whole bunch of stuff. Destiny 2 new merchandise. A whole bunch of things to talk about in this episode.
Video games.
But first, video games. We're going to talk about video games, what we've been playing first. Jez, you always go first. You been playing Path of Exile, or what have you been hitting up?
I haven't been playing Path of Exile recently, actually. Because I've been sucked into the world of Pillars of Eternity for Xbox One. Now, Pillars of Eternity is a pretty old game, actually. It came out a couple of years ago for PC. It was a Kickstarter project from Obsidian. Obsidian, of course, made Fallout 3, New Vegas, and a load of other beloved games, you know. And they kickstarted Pillars of Eternity, which was supposed to be a sort of spiritual successor to classic CRPGs like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. And they are now bringing the complete edition with all the DLC. They're bringing that to Xbox One in a few weeks or months. I think it's late August or early September or late September. I don't know. But yeah, I've been playing Pillars of Eternity. It's a pretty cool game. I'm writing a preview of it right now. It's a classic isometric RPG. It's super complicated, you know, Dungeons and Dragons style with all the stats and all that sort of stuff. Mike Ybarra says he wants to join the call.
Well, I mean, if he wants to join, we can get him in here and you can tell us about the new dashboard update. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan.
All right, I will. All right, so what else have you been? So I kind of forgot what we were talking about. What else have you been up to other than that?
Other than Pillars of Eternity, I've been playing a lot of Dying Light on Mixer with Justin Roby from Microsoft Studios. It's a very fun game. That's about it, really. I've been extremely busy because whenever Microsoft drops a preview update, all hell breaks loose. You know, at Windows Central. So, like, that's what I've been doing pretty much, writing about the new dashboard update. Right. I mean, what have you been playing around?
Actually, I've been playing a lot of stuff. I recently started Hellblade on the PS4. So this is a very interesting game. A very, very interesting game. Have you heard anything about Hellblade at all, Jez?
I don't know a damn thing about Hellblade. What is it?
It is so it's by Ninja Theory. And hold on, let me get my thoughts ready because I actually haven't been like gotten my thoughts together on this one. But it's an action game, but it's kind of like, how would you describe it? Well, anyways, I think we have a guest.
Oh wow!
What's going on?
Hey,
What
Mike,
is up?
how's it going?
I'm doing well, Jez. How are you? It's got to be what, 9 p.m. for you or something like that?
It's 10 p.m. in good old Germany, so
10
it's pretty
p.m.
late here. But I never skip upon the opportunity to talk video games with cool people, you know.
I'll see you at Gamescom, I hope.
Yes, I'm going to Gamescom.
Good.
Definitely. Third year running.
Third year. Wow. That's crazy.
Wow. Who would have thought?
Gamescom is always wild, 350,000 people. People think that E3 is wild. They have no idea until they attend a Gamescom.
Yeah, Gamescom is it's just crazy. I mean, E3 was pretty crazy this year because they opened it to the public for the first time. But Gamescom is still like, it's a whole nother level of crazy. There's just so many people and it's always so hot in Cologne at that time of year.
Yeah, the nice thing is there's equal passion, though. I mean, the fans are, they're all over, playing the games, talking to people, things like that. So that's always good news.
Yeah.
So, and you're going, aren't you going to Gamescom this year too, Mike?
Yeah, I'll be there, yep.
Ooh.
Any interesting announcements for Gamescom we should expect?
Well, I was going to ask you what we're going to announce, Jez.
Hey, he would know.
I know. I mean, I learned half the news from him. I get in the morning and I've got 15 emails from the team about what Jez is posting.
So, Mike, it was it was a busy day yesterday. I'd imagine for Xbox pushing out the new dashboard and new guide, the Fluent design to the alpha members on the Insider Ring, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we sent it out to the alpha crew, and I know the team is scouring over a host of feedback, which is the usual process we go through here in releasing changes like this. And I think for us, this is the dashboard that'll ship with Xbox One X, and of course on the S and the original Xbox as well. So we got to listen to the feedback. We got to adjust as we go forward. We're really happy with the general speed and tone that we have with the update. And there's a lot of stuff not plugged in yet. So like all updates over time, more features will come in. The UI will change and adjust as we drive towards our launch date.
So can you kind of like go over like the new home screen, which a lot of people kind of seem to have maybe a little misreaction to, but like you I know, like reading the notes and everything, this was all about being able to customize the home screen to how you want it, right? So you can kind of put whatever you want, like the friends and the games in there and stuff.
Yeah, for the last, I would say, 3 years or so, people have always asked to be able to customize home themselves. And so what you're seeing is just the basic start of that customization. And we call it content blocks. And these are blocks at the bottom of home that users can set, they can delete, they can have no blocks at all, they can have just a pins block, or they can have 5 friends pinned, 4 games pinned, and pins are a club or something like that. Right now, the limit is 10. That's kind of an arbitrary number. We're just testing with 10 right now to see how it goes. We know that from early testing, people really want to be able to pin the things that they're doing. So for example, if I'm playing Prey, which is the game I'm playing on Xbox now, I'll pin that game so I can see notes from the developer. I can see who else is playing. I can see if anybody's broadcasting it. Really easy. And so it takes time for people to actually get in there and customize a few things on a solid build for them to really understand the power of those things. But we look forward to it, and it's always changing and evolving. A lot of the logic behind calling in the developer posts on Game Hubs isn't all there yet. And so certainly I think, it's Alpha Ring, it's a very small audience. It's our most, I would say, highly engaged beta testers that we have, because we know there's bugs, we know there's things that aren't fixed, we know that there's things that don't look great in certain areas, and that crew understands that, and you know, they're giving us that feedback.
That's awesome. So like, sticking with the content blocks for a sec, because like, you know, in Windows Central we have quite a lot of developers in our audience. I've already had questions from UWP developers asking if there'll be the opportunity to maybe pin UWP apps in the future, expose content from those apps into the content block, similar to way live tolls work. Is that something, because I did notice in your blog post that you said you had future plans for content blocks and extra content blocks in the future. Is that something you guys might be looking at maybe?
Yeah, this is just the start of what we want to do with content blocks, both for this release and in the future. You can imagine a world where you have a Twitter content block and you can see your latest tweets there, or maybe it's DMs that you want to see. That's just one example I made up here, but certainly as we go forward, we think the content block idea, this idea of giving gamers the ability to customize their home, is something that not only apps and game developers will embrace, but the consumers will embrace as well. So you're seeing just the cusp of what we really want to do here with the build that we've sent out.
That's awesome.
And so, you know, that's one of the major points of the Dash. I think the other major point in the Dash is just the top part of home. And there's been a lot of feedback on this. I mean, I've seen the Reddit threads, I've seen the NeoGAF threads. I think there's a lot of positive, but there's also feedback that we're seeing, both from people that have the build and people that don't have the build. One of the biggest piece of feedback is, hey, don't show me friends. I don't want to know who I could possibly be friends with. All of this is algorithmically driven, and what we have right now is none of those algorithms working in the background. And so you see suggested friends and things like that as just placeholders. What it really is intended to be, especially for our core audience, you know, in the alpha ring and people like us who play lots of games, is items like a reminder to not forget the upcoming arena tournament you have on Saturday, or maybe a club that you're in has an LFG and they need a player for Destiny. It's supposed to be content specific. It will be context specific information for you based on the groups, the clubs, and the games that you're playing, to make sure you know what's going on. And there's two small blocks that we really want to drive that sort of thing. We've had a host of feedback about don't suggest friends to me. There are some cases where people do like that. For example, if I'm brand new to Xbox and I have 2 friends and I'm like, wow, I wish I had more people that played Halo 5 with me, or I wish I could find broadcasters that broadcast the games I like more. And so it's an intelligent backend that'll drive that. We know there's a bug in there that's suggesting friends to people that have lots of friends. We understand that feedback. Give us a little time to optimize that. I really like that if one of my friends is broadcasting any game on Mixer, either on the PC or the Xbox, it shows up there, because you know, I'm a pretty big watch and broadcaster myself, and so there's value there. We have to figure out the right algorithms in the back end to make sure people are getting the right things that they want.
I did notice because like I did an impressions video early 4 in the morning after the build shipped in Germany, and the first thing I noticed was, oh no, suggested friends. I don't want friends ever. Go away, friends. So that was the first thing I noticed. But today, after using it for a little bit longer, like a couple of days, now I noticed that it shows game installations as well with the progress bar, which was a surprise, and all sorts of other stuff. So is there like again, will UWP developers be able to tie into that to deliver notifications maybe and stuff like that? Because I mean, we could segue as well into the fact that the guide now has another point of contention is the guide. Like, if you want to get to your notifications, like there's an extra step to get there now. So I wondered if those dynamic blocks could offset some of those extra steps, or maybe you could give us some insight onto why there's been an extra step added on some of those menus.
Yeah, I think so. So there's a couple of things there. I think you're right in terms of if I'm moving multiple games to my hard drive, or I'm installing, one of those changes to show install progress. I got to stop looking at the chat because I'm reading all these questions. I'm trying to answer what you guys are saying. Now I know why you guys don't reply when I say something in the chat. But those content blocks, or those blocks, will show progress there. It's a pretty complex logic system in the back that sort of says, what do we think that the user wants in terms of information. So it's gonna take some time. That's why we have the preview program to really drive and make that valuable. Trust that we hear the feedback on suggested friends in terms of that coming up and how people feel about that. On the guide for notifications, that's another piece of feedback that we've seen. I mean, it's only been out 24 hours, and so we're all sort of like, okay, we're combing through getting all this feedback, and the team's iterating on it. So there's no plans for it, but we know there's feedback around notifications. At the system level, we could use those blocks for things like notifications too. We don't have the system in place right now to say, hey, any app developer can write something to home, because if we did that, then we would have to have a policy and a governance model around it, because you can imagine some app vendors just spamming random stuff on home, and that would be a pretty big problem.
Good point.
But certainly we like the idea of giving apps more freedom to bring awareness, as long as it's the right context type of awareness that people want to them. And we'll look into that as we go forward, not for this particular release here. So we're looking at notifications in the new guide and trying to say, okay, people obviously use that a lot. They feel like the extra click, while it may be faster, the extra click is a little bit of pain. What do we want to do there? And we'll go ahead and look at that. So going into the new guide,
what was the thought process behind changing it vertically to horizontally? Was it just for speed and quick ease of use, or?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we had data on and feedback was when it was horizontal, people got lost in the menus. B didn't go back all the time. They didn't understand exactly where to go and where to go back in the stack when they were doing something. And so we thought to ourselves, and there was a speed element as well. We wanted to make this fast. And so from a design contextual standpoint, the top tabs, the Mixer Community Entertainment and Store, are horizontal. And so we tested, wow, what if Guide was horizontal? And we used it with our own team. And I'll admit, a couple of days, it took a while to get used to seeing this horizontal because we were so used to vertical. But we really started liking it. And what we found is we could up the speed dramatically about what shows up and where. And so while the data in some cases shows an extra click, for example, if I want friends, it's LBA, and then I can actually see the rich presence of all of my friends. We've timed all of these, and we see the % increase in speed to get to the data you want. There are some situations where it's an extra click, and so it's just a trade-off there. And we see equal feedback of, wow, we love the speed, we love this. And we see equal feedback that says, hey, the extra click is kind of annoying. What can you do there? There's certainly some optimizations on where things are that the team's already looking at, but I really like the horizontal theme of this, the simplicity that it brings, really keeping people in their games in order to switch games, switch apps, see what friends are doing, answer a message, instead of having to go to home and do it in a longer way than that. So I like the look, but again, we're going to listen to all the feedback. I mean, the feedback drives the change that we deliver here. We just have to be a little patient, let people get a little bit used to it. First reactions are usually on, but we like to wait a few days.
Yeah, I do think, especially for people who are coming in from 360, that'll probably be like more intuitive and more recognizable. Because like the first thing I thought was, oh, it's horizontal now, like the 360. Which is, it was almost nostalgic. I've never been nostalgic for a UI element before, but now it's happened.
Yeah, it's funny, when you, for example, if you go over to friends, you see how many friends are online, then you hit A and another window comes up. We actually call those blades internally, because you're right. Many people were like, hey, this is the taxonomy that was 360. We sort of understand this, and it makes a lot of sense. So from our standpoint, the speed of the overall dash is really great. I mean, going to My Games and Apps, when you go to that, before there was a splash screen that took 5 seconds to go away before you got to it. That's now completely gone. It just instantly loads. I like the fact that Guide is practically instant. So from a speed standpoint, I feel like we're getting somewhere. We're making progress against the fan feedback, which was a lot of people were pretty upset 2 years ago about the speed of the system.
Yeah, it's definitely it definitely feels fast as well because you've eliminated the splash screen transitions between games and apps and other things like that, and it does feel faster just on the pure basis that those elements have been removed. I'm going to ask a question, Mike, from Amma Justice, who asks, will the guide have fluent design instead of just grey? And I think that's another question that I've seen raised quite a bit, is that some backgrounds are grey, other backgrounds have the fluent acrylic. What's the design mentality between when you use transparency and when you don't? Can you give us any insight on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're seeing in this build is very early elements of the Fluent design language, which was introduced as part of Windows 10. We're going to use that more and more as we go forward. We really like the internal builds of Windows 10 that we see when you look at the vision of what the design team. There's a person named Chris Novak who runs design for Xbox. He's the person that's representing the Fluent design language in the system. I've seen further iterations of what this looks like. And definitely we see feedback of there's a lot of gray, what are you going to do there? We're iterating on some elements. The challenge of that is balancing very nice visuals with speed and performance and responsiveness. And so we're in the early stages of looking at the full stack of the design language and saying, what can we apply in a way that keeps our speed promise yet enables some delight in terms of how users interact with the model. So you'll see more there as we go forward.
That's awesome.
No, I like most of the update. Honestly, I like the speed of the guide. One of the things I would like to see is on the home screen. It's like half. You have like half an image. Is there any? Could it possibly we could get like a full screen image at some point down the road? Now that a lot of the real estate is freed up to be able to like get those full images.
Yeah, we're looking at a couple of things there. One, it's a very early build, and so we haven't looked at all the apps. There's some apps that just have screen backgrounds that look bad. Jez called one out that I think is right somewhere that I saw. There's several that do that. Even the Mixer one is a little weird. And so we're going through and looking at all of that. We're looking at the gray comment because that's out there as well. And we certainly have feedback that says people want kind of full screen pictures. Even if they're not using a custom background image, they want more color versus the gray that they see. And so I don't know what the team has in mind here. It's part of the feedback they looked at, and I'm sure they're going to either come up with ideas on what we can do there or sort of be able to communicate to users where we are in terms of what that looks like.
That's awesome.
Now, one of the other big changes was to the community tab. Whereas before it was a single block of information, now it seems one big block, side by side with two smaller ones to get more information at a glance that you can then view each one of the items at full screen, kind of like have like a slideshow sort of with the bumpers. You can go through and view all of your friends' stuff. What was that? What was the thought process behind that? Do you just want to showcase more things and more users and what people are doing on Xbox? Was that kind of the reason behind that?
I think this is a great area. We had a lot of feedback from people that the community tab, the existing community tab out now was really dated. It was sort of 3/4 of the screen. It was very linear in terms of you saw one post to another. Some had a lot of dead space in it in terms of the consumption of the data. And so we challenged the team to come up with a more modern design. The idea here was, how can we give users the ability to look at their feeds and see more than just one line across at one time? And so we took a block concept here, much like what some of the latest social networks do. So on the screen, the top left, you have your share. If you want to share something, you click on that, and immediately it comes up with your what you want to share. You can do comments. You can pick your DVR clips or your screenshots. The next is trending on Xbox, which a lot of people click on just to go see, hey, what's the most popular thing on Xbox right now, and see what other people are engaging with. And then the right one is clubs, to get into the clubs for your Xbox. Right underneath that, above where all of the kind of activity feed blocks are, you'll see a refresh button. And if you have items to refresh, a little text on the bottom will say, hey, refresh for 4 new items or something like that. You have a icon to get you into an area where you can manage your captures. So this is where you can delete things, see all the screenshots you want, sort by game, all of those elements. And then The third icon is activity feed preferences. So we're also giving people the ability to customize their activity feed, what shows up on their activity feed. You can take off things like friends activities. You can say show only my favorites, my favorite friends, not all my friends. You can say to show the activity for the games I follow. So when a developer makes a post on their game hub, you can choose if you want that to show. Same thing with clubs. And then, one request that we had was there's a popular now post that comes up every once in a while, and some people wanted to turn that off. And so that option is there as well. But the activity feed itself, you're right, there's a big block and two smaller ones, and it just kind of continues all the way down. And you can still RT and LT to page down and up. If you want to like something, you just click A on it, you can like it, press B and go right back to where you were. And so it's about getting more consumption to the user with less scrolling, and just giving this a visual touch up, which I think landed pretty well, but we'll see what the feedback is.
That's cool. Mike, I just want to throw in a question from Eric the Red 06, who asks, will avatars be more prominent again like 360 era? And you guys did mention that new avatars are on the rise, and you've been teasing them for quite a while now. I just wondered if there's anything you can tell us about the plans for avatars going forward, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the plans from the team on avatars. Certainly, they'll be more, they'll be everywhere compared to today, because they're almost nowhere today. But that's a balance as well. So, we've tested some things with some groups, and we see when we put avatars everywhere, people are like, "Hey, this is just too much movement, too much flow. I don't really know what I'm doing." There's a fine balance there, but I love avatars. I think our fans have reiterated the fact that they like a visual identity, a gaming identity of themselves that they can show off and they can earn avatar rewards for, and show off their latest games on that. And we want to make sure that not only do they see avatars when they use the shell, but their friends see it as well, so they can discover the identity and when you change. I mean, I remember myself changing my outfit to Santa Claus in December and elements like that, or whatever game I'm playing, I would have that on, and people sort of know, Mike's playing that right now. So when we disclose avatars, I think people will see the start of where we want to put those, and that'll be just the beginning, because really the team's doing a great job in building the type of system that we could go overboard with, or we can find the right match to make sure people understand the value of avatars without being super annoying. So all of that will come later on when we start talking more about avatars in general.
That's awesome.
Now, I got to ask you, since you're here, we're both big fan of achievements, right? I love the rare achievements. I love the achievement rarity down to the percentage points, right? But I have to ask, Mike, what is next for achievements? What is next, the next step?
Yeah, I mean, I think people like achievements, and I always get requests for, wow, we need completed games, or we want to delete 0 gamer score from our lists, and elements like that. And those are all small things that we can do to the system, and the team looks at them. They're in our backlog. A backlog is our stack of items that we want to get done. But there's actually bigger, more bolder changes that we have in mind. Nothing I can talk about now, but something that fundamentally changes the concept. And I think that later on we might be able to be in a position to talk about that. But certainly we are working towards a bigger, more meaningful change about somebody's gaming accomplishments and history as a gamer on Xbox. We value that, and we know our users value that a lot. And so we want to bring that to people. And I'm very excited when I see the potential plans the team reviews with me. They are still in the ideation mode of that and kind of building those. And in the future, I think we'll be able to disclose some of that. But I agree with you, Rand. I think we can do a lot more to reflect and let people show off their gaming history and their status, whether it's somebody that only plays multiplayer in Halo 5, but they're a professional in that. You want to be able, and they only have 2,000 gamer score. You want to be able to celebrate that person. You want people to be able to know this person doesn't play a lot of games, but they're a world top 10 in Halo 5. All the way to people like Rand, who are good at almost every game and play almost everything.
Including Barbie.
Including Barbie on Connect, I mean, there's that range that we really need to look at and we need to celebrate. And so, I can't go into too many details because the team would kill me, but certainly we're going to go big in the area of letting people show off and represent their gaming history and the type of gamer that they are, far more than we do with gamer score, which is just a score. It's a score. It's very meaningful. I mean, I love my gamer score. Lots of people do, but I think there's broader things we can do there as well.
Now, one of the smaller parts of this update I thought much needed was the ability to move blocks of content from one hard drive to another hard drive. Because you can only do it one at a time previously, but I have 5 terabytes of an external hard drive. We have the Xbox One X coming out soon with all those 4K updates that'll probably take up a lot of space. Was the ability to move a bunch of content at one time, was this always in the pipeline, or was this kind of like, hey, we got this brand new system coming out, we're gonna need people are gonna want to be able to move stuff at once instead of just like one at a time?
Yeah, I think for us, that request has been out there on the feedback site. It wasn't voted super high, but for people to have multiple consoles and a lot of games, and not many people have multiple consoles, but for people that do, moving those games around is very, very difficult. And so we knew it was out there. Certainly with Xbox One X coming out later this year, we want to make it as easy and seamless as possible for people to take their games that are on their existing console and move them over to X. So that was a motivating factor as well. The feature actually landed very well. I did it on a Mixer stream, and a lot of people don't even know that feature's in there because it's not in the blog post or anything like that. But as we go forward, we'll talk about that a little more. You can choose any game or app or all of them or whatever number you want to move and move them over and not worry about it. Go back to home, and as Jez says, one of those blocks will be saying the % move completed, so you know your status. Certainly a feature that I think people really enjoyed. When I tweeted that out, I got a lot of good positive response for that.
Now, one of the other kind of features that were kind of hidden was the ability to change your NAT from the Xbox itself instead of screwing around with your router or modem. I think that was a great addition.
Yeah, I mean, some of the key people gave us feedback around some networking flexibility that they want. There's more that we can do there, but that's definitely something that we have in the system and people are testing out, and definitely had some positive feedback on that one as well. So I'm very, very happy that we have that in the build.
Now, I got to ask this question. How excited are you for people to finally get their hands on the X this year? You've been working on it for a long time. Is the team really, really pumped for everybody to get their hands on the X?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most magical moments that teams have when they work in this business is the release of a new console, because it's pretty rare to happen, and 2, it takes a tremendous amount of work to do, far more than I think the industry understands. And so we're on the cusp of releasing a product. We all have them at home. We're all using them. We're playing all these games with them. It's pretty incredible and magical time right now when you walk the halls of Xbox, because you can just feel the energy. It's in the air, the positivity around what we're delivering and the focus that we had on delivering a console that was 40% more powerful than anything else out there, that'll play the absolute best versions of the games. And we're seeing developer momentum. Jez had a great article about what developers are saying about their games and the power that they can do on X. And so for us, it's about delivering fun, and fun is not only just about pixels and resolution, it's about end-to-end experiences and scenarios. And so this is the start of the journey of the Xbox One X as a console, and I think we'll have continual announcements as we go on. And Phil's alluded to some of those already about where we're going to invest and how we're going to make this fun. But for me, I'm giddy every day because I get up, I launch this thing, and I see the latest builds. I see latest builds of games, and I'm playing them, and they're phenomenal looking. And I think once you guys get them in your hands, you'll think the same.
Now, one of the biggest games coming out for Xbox this holiday is your favorite game, the game that you play all the time, every day on Mixer, and that is the one and only, the gaming phenomenon, PUBG. Now, I think you said before you don't know when it's coming to Xbox, other than it is coming to Xbox. How do you think the Xbox audience will take to that game that is kind of sweeping the gaming industry right now?
Yeah, I mean, PlayerUnknown Battleground, we call it PUBG, is It's one of those rare games where, for me personally and for millions of people, they can't put down. They keep coming back to it. I think there's a few elements to that. One, 4 versus 4, 2 versus 2, or 1 versus 100. The scenario of winner takes all and survival, to the end, is something that's very, very just incredible. And so I've been playing a lot of that on PC. The developer did post on Twitter saying that it'll be on Xbox by the end of the year. And so people are really stoked and hyped about that. I think that game is going to be huge. And I think on console, it'll be just as big, if not bigger, as it is on PC as people play that game. It's a wonderful game because more people today watch games than play games. And the type of game you watch, playing a single player game and broadcasting it, is kind of hard because that audience wants excitement. There's no game out there that I'm aware of that drives more excitement than something like PUBG or Overwatch or something like that. But PUBG is insane because the intensity gets so high as you get down to that top 20, top 10 left, 5 left, one-on-one, just you and that other person, and your stream is just there's as intense as you. And so the game has just done an awesome job of capturing the viewership plus the fundamentals of a shooter that make that a pretty magical experience. I had the opportunity to meet Player Unknown, the person, very creative, very smart person, very focused on what they want to deliver. Great team out there at Bluehole, and I think it's going to be phenomenal, and I can't wait to play it on Xbox.
Now, I've seen some people asking this in chat, so I figure I'll ask it for myself. People want to know, is PUBG a true exclusive, or is it what you would call a console launch exclusive, or can you guys not say yet, I guess?
Well, certainly I can't say as the platform person. I think Phil is managing all of those, and we're happy to have it on Xbox like we do. And I think we'll all defer to him to kind of answer the game's questions.
Digital Hoarders asks, do you feel that PUBG type of game's success will lead to a shift in game types moving forward in the industry? Like, is a service-driven game the place to be now? I think that's a conversation that's sort of permeating across the whole industry right now.
Well, I think people are going to like all games of all kinds, and the diversity of the developers that you have, global developers that you have, all the way down from the creators program that we have, where anyone can publish a game on Xbox and live enable it, all the way to your AAA huge game that takes 3 or 4 years to create. I think people are going to want games of all flavors all the time. Certainly when you see a game like PUBG, which captures the incredible simplicity of, you have an M16 in your hand, if something moves, shoot it. I mean, that game loop is so tight that it's very easy to pick up and play. And so I think PUBG will remind people of, wow, simplicity, multiplayer fun, competition, and the ability for the world to watch this game is a winning combination, that they're going to look at all of the games from all sizes across the whole globe and say, how do we apply some of that creative thinking into this game? Whenever a big hit launches, everybody looks at it and says, wow, what did they do and how do we apply it to ours? That'll happen here too. But I don't think that any one game will make everyone say that's the only type of game that we want. The great thing about being gamers like us is we can play the broadest variety of games and on Xbox and have a great time with those games. I was just talking to Rand earlier this morning about Edith. What's that name? What's the name of that game?
What Remains of Edith Finch, my game of the year right now.
Yeah, What Remains of Edith Finch. I'm going to start playing that now. First thing Rand said is, it's a good game, but you won't like it, Mike, because he knows I'm a PUBG, get in there with a gun and shoot in competition. But those kind of games I actually do like. I just don't stream it. I can take an hour and a half of it, and I certainly love the 1000G that I get from it. But I don't think PUBG will set a standard that says all games have to be like that and everything's moving there. Certainly there's some service-based experiences that people like in the game, and I think other games will adopt that. But I'm a huge PUBG fan, obviously.
Now, one of the also big things that happened yesterday, much requested feature, an app, Spotify, finally hit Xbox. So you guys seen a lot of downloads for the app? A lot of people seem to be very excited about finally getting the largest music streaming service on Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, when we launched background music months ago, I don't even remember when, but when we launched that, the biggest thing I got in feedback was, where's Spotify? And so we have been working with Spotify for a while on that, and we're very happy to have that out. It's been downloaded a lot. People are engaging with that app a lot. They did just an absolute fantastic job in the app and supporting background music in an elegant way, which I think is really cool. And so it works out really well. I mean, I'm very happy to have Spotify on there. I know millions of people are engaging with Spotify all the time, and now they can on Xbox as well. So feels good to have that app out, and I like seeing all the replies I get on Twitter having it out too. So that's great.
Now, there's this other thing I wanted you to put to rest. I see a lot of misinformation that comes out about the Xbox One X. A lot of people say that you need a 4K TV to take advantage of those features. Now, that's not true, right? I mean, you have the super sampling and the faster load times. Can you kind of touch on that with the X about like you don't need a 4K TV to take advantage of everything that the system has to offer?
No, I mean, not at all. Like, I see a lot of people buying 4K TVs, and I think that's great. More power to them. But definitely, you don't need a 4K TV to take advantage. In fact, most of our team runs 1080p TVs with their Xbox One X. The super sampling that we do makes the games look incredible. I mean, they look really good on the system, but you also touch on another important element. It's about overall system performance. When you're loading up a game and getting ready to play, the X is incredibly faster than Xbox One S. But at the same time, requiring people to have a 4K TV to get that value was one of the things we thought of when we originally created the Xbox One X. We wanted to make sure 1080p TV owners saw value add and didn't have to go purchase the latest 4K TV. Of course, if you want the absolute best experience having a 4K TV, the picture is phenomenal. It really is. I play about 6 to 8 feet in my office away from my TV. I've got a 1080p TV and a 4K TV side by side because it's important for us to make sure the 1080p owner gets a great experience. And I'm really happy about where we landed. And so if people are listening to this and they're thinking about buying a 4K TV, if you want to, more power to you. But know if you have Xbox One X and a 1080p TV, you're going to get a lot of value there, and you can choose to upgrade when you want. And the Xbox One S, by the way, it's an incredible product, and it does a lot of upscaling to 4K itself. And so really with the X, we created this with the idea of giving the gamers their choice of when they want to upgrade and letting them go ahead and do that upgrade. That's why we're committed to back compat elements like that.
Mike, I'd be interested to get your perspective on something because I mean, you're probably aware that the HP and the Acer mixed reality dev kits for Windows mixed reality have started going out now. And when the Xbox One X was originally announced, there was a VR element to that. The Xbox One X will power high fidelity VR, I believe was the words used. I'm wondering what's your perspective on what needs to happen in VR for it to be ready to come to the Xbox One X? Like what has to be in place before we get it on Xbox One X? Because presumably it's still on the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about us listening to the customers and developers about where they want to prioritize their time and their energy and creating the assets that they are. And right now, what we see and what we hear and what we believe is Windows is the best platform to do that on. And so all of that's on Windows. We have Xbox Live for MR on Windows, and the games can take advantage of that. And a lot of our energy is spent enabling that because it's a complete open platform. There's developer momentum with Valve, HTC, Oculus, and others developing there. And so today the focus is making MR on Windows absolutely successful. We'll continue to listen to the fans about VR and MR in the console space and prioritize like the other features that we do. But I don't have anything to say about VR or MR on the console outside of the focus right now is on Windows.
Awesome. I think besides PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, what are the big titles for this holiday season that you're most looking forward to for the Xbox One, Xbox One X?
Oh, well, I mean, I think Forza 7, I've seen Forza Horizon 3, we've all played that. I've seen Forza 7 in 4K. It blows me away, so I can't wait to dive into that game. shadow of War I'm looking forward to. I mean, I think that game looks incredible. I loved what I saw at E3, and that team continues to impress us, and so that'll be a super fun one. PUBG, as you mentioned, sometime later this year on Xbox. I can't wait to dive into that. I've always loved the Crackdown franchise. I'm not close to Crackdown 3, and so I think that'll be a whole new experience for me that I want to get into. And that's enough games to keep me busy for the next 6 months, I think. But there's probably ones I missed even in there.
my
your
backlog is
previous
absolutely
addiction
shameful right now.
Destiny 2, Mike's previous addiction before PUBG.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of new rebirth franchises in that time frame. And so I'll certainly play Destiny 2 with some friends that I have. Whether or not it hooks me like one did, we'll see. We'll see as that game progresses. Bungie always does a great job.
That they do. Now, well, one of the biggest questions people have right now is, Mike, when can I give you my money for my new Xbox One X? They want to just throw money at you, and they're every day I get questions, and I'm sure you get questions too. When are Xbox One X pre-orders gonna open? Just let me give you my money.
I'm staying way away from this question.
Yes, I knew you wouldn't be able to answer it, but I had to ask.
Or someone else is probably listening to this right now.
Well, I think everyone, well, a lot of the people watching are probably ready to open their wallets and just throw money at Xbox in the general direction of Redmond. I'm going to buy 2, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see the excitement from people. I know there's frustration about pre-orders. Apologize for that. As Phil said on Twitter, he said soon, and really that's all I can say about that. But I'll be in line too, that's for sure.
Awesome.
I did see a question in chat that I wanted to bring up. Now, you can stream on Mixer. It's baked right into the dashboard. It's your own platform that you own, but you also can stream on Twitch as well. Is there any plans at all of letting people stream directly to YouTube in the future?
I've seen the requests on the feedback site. I think what we need to do is see things voted up. I mean, literally, I know I say that a lot on feature requests, but the team will literally go to that feedback site, look by votes, and then look at that, relate it to their own sort of engineering ideas and plans that they want to do, and build the backlog for the features that we do. So I would encourage anybody that wants any other features to go up to user voice. I think it's xbox.uservoice.com and vote those features up, because that does directly impact what we do. What we see on console is a lot of people, they're not streaming directly off console, and it's a few people that are routing through a PC. And so, they have all the flexibility on the PC to do whatever they want. But definitely have people go vote for any features they want on that site, because the team does use that.
And speaking of Mixer in general, how satisfied are you with the service in general, the low latency? The site's gotten a lot bigger since you guys directly introduced that to the dashboard. Are you feeling good about Mixer and the future of the platform?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think the low latency that we have gives the broadcaster the ability to, I literally will play a game and ask people in my chat where the achievements are, and it's real time, and I don't miss them. And I look forward to times where you have the Mixer audience playing games for you. I think that's going to be incredibly powerful. Imagine virtual controllers set up so they're playing the game and beating games like Dark Souls, which is insane. But I'm really happy with where the team's going. I like the rebrand, the naming, the momentum that we have there, the growth and usage that we're seeing, and the feedback we're getting from customers keeps us on our toes in terms of what we need to do. There's things like overlays and elements on the console that we need to bring to give people the flexibility they want. And then we need to keep working hard to make sure that the streamers that we have on Mixer can be partnered and make a living off broadcasting. We are always about the creator themselves, and so a lot of our features are focused on ensuring that the creators and the features that they need to be successful are things that we are addressing. But I'm very happy with it. I broadcast quite a bit. My engagement with the audience off my Mixer channel at mixer.com/quick is very high. And if anything, the direct engagement with customers and their views of what's going right and wrong, this is just another added value, added vehicle to that. I wish you guys did this stream on Mixer.
You know, one day we will.
We've been looking into this. I'm going on to round about how much I hate Google Hangouts.
I need a new PC. My PC is 6 years old, so I need a new PC before I can do any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's something we can look at. Like, I could do it for XSplit with Skype or something instead. We'll look into it.
Yeah. I do have a question from chat, Mike. Now, usually with apps, it has to be like this person's asking, when can we have YouTube app that supports 4K? It's from Lucifer X UK. Is that up to Google themselves? It's not you guys, right? That's just entirely who makes the app?
I get a lot of questions about, hey, bring app X to Xbox, and anybody can go create their app or add features to their app. We don't really get in between that. We used to. It used to be a very curated program, but with UWP now and a lot of the app flexibility we've put into the system, if people want certain apps, they need to go ask or features in those apps. They need to go ask the owner of those apps to do that. We can't. We don't have their code, so we can't go do that ourselves. Like Spotify, I would have loved to have Spotify, years ago, but it's up to Spotify to actually create that app. Same thing with YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all those apps. And so what they need to look at is updating their own app. And it's not a UWP statement. We had, the app management before, which were called SRAs. Those were all created by those companies. It's kind of like us saying, we would let someone else put, Microsoft Word or Outlook on a system and code it themselves. We wouldn't do that, just like app people wouldn't let us go do that. And so certainly if people want apps, they should contact the owners of those apps and ask for that for sure.
Speaking of Outlook and Word, why haven't we got them on Xbox yet?
Well, a lot of people ask that question. A lot of people say, hey, if I buy an Xbox, how come I can't do my homework on it too? And to that feature, I would say, look, go vote that up.
I would totally do that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a small amount of people that will do that. Probably dorm room type people, because using Word or Outlook on a TV in a controller for input would be, probably pretty difficult. But we're open to all of the ideas, and so vote those features up.
It just kind of hit me that we didn't really even properly introduce Mike, Jazz.
I know. I just kind of like taken aback by how awesome it is that Mike just stepped in here.
Now, for anybody listening, Mike, what exactly is your like corporate gaming executive or Microsoft? I don't even know your full title, but what exactly do you do at Xbox? I'm sure a lot of people would like to know.
Yeah, so from a title standpoint, I'm a corporate vice president of the Xbox platform team. And so a lot of people are like, platform team, what is that? And I just kind of say, hey, just think of that as everything but the games. That's the easiest way to think about it. That my peers, Bonnie for 343, Rod for the Coalition, Matt Booty for Minecraft, they, Shannon Loftus for Crackdown, Craig Duncan and Hannah Lemke for Sea of Thieves. Those people run the games themselves, the studios themselves. We have someone that runs third-party relationships as well. And so from a game standpoint, while I'm a member of the LT and can voice my opinion and highlight some games that I think we should rally behind, the game side is really managed by them. And everything else but the games is largely managed by the platform team at Xbox.
That's awesome.
So the Xbox Live Service, Mixer, I run program management. So we think about, okay, over the next 10 years, what do we want? Where do we want gaming to go? And what's some of the options? What are the technology inflection points to which we should think about creating more experiences for consumers? All of that incubation starts in program management, and then of course goes out to Phil and all of the leadership team, where we work as a united team. We're all incredibly passionate about Xbox. I work with some of the most amazing peers and teams in Xbox. And every day I'm incredibly impressed by the ideas and the creativity that they have. And we all get together and we build that Xbox plan. And, I tell Phil often I would do this job free. It's incredibly, we all feel incredibly lucky to be in the positions that we are with the fans that we have, that, if they don't like something, they make that super, super clear. And if they like something, they equally make that clear. And that's kind of the place you want to be. So.
A store feature that I see greatly requested is a cart system.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you're looking into possibly down the road, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, we have a whole list of store features from gifting to a cart system and whatnot that we have in the backlog. The store team is an adjacent team from us that works on that. And certainly they understand those needs and work towards the top features that customers really want. And so I can't announce new features on this, obviously, because the team would kill me. But I want that too.
But you did stealth announce digital games or digital gifting, game gifting. Did you get in trouble for that too?
No, I mean, well, gifting is something that Phil had alluded to, and so when Phil says anything, I just reiterate it, and everyone thinks I'm leaking these things. But the team has been pretty open about gifting being a huge priority in terms of what customers want, the ability to gift games to people. And Phil had alluded that it was something the team is working on, and so as we go forward, I'm sure we'll see that and other features as well.
It'd be awesome if you could if you just have links on your Mixer stream that go straight to the store, and you can raffle games straight from the store. That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, when I talked about giving creators the flexibility to be successful in terms of what they're doing, a lot of that is how the monetization and the ability for them to give games away to the viewers that are watching, or give DLC or maybe an item or an avatar shirt or something as they're streaming. You can take that all the way down to being able to purchase. If more people right now, they're not going up and reading reviews or going to Metacritic to learn about games. They're going to Mixer or Twitch or YouTube or Facebook Live or whatever, and they're watching people play games. And then they're deciding, do I want to buy this game? And so you can imagine those scenarios where, even giving the flexibility for people to be able to engage like that is something creators are looking at. And, we certainly look at that feature as part of the feature list that we have in terms of something that we think would be really cool to enable. So I think, Jez, you're right on the right path in terms of some of that.
So you're saying that I should stop writing reviews and start streaming them instead?
I told you, I'm trying to encourage you to get on Mixer.
I stream on Mixer every day, actually.
You do. I see you.
But I stream at 5 a.m. Redmond time, so you're probably asleep.
I'm just getting up, but I'm not. I'm not engaging in Mixer at that time.
Yeah, Mixer's been an amazing platform. I mean, for Windows Central, we tried to do the Twitch stream thing for a long time, but we came to the game really late, and the competition was just insane. And then we decided, when you guys announced the deal with Beam at the time, we got in at the ground floor, and now we're definitely among the biggest channels on Mixer. So if there's anyone in the chat who is thinking of getting into streaming, going into Mixer is a way smarter thing to do, because it's you're getting at the ground floor and there's less competition, and frankly the community is a little more tightly knit and just generally nicer. And that's I mean, I don't know. Have you experienced streaming on Twitch at all, Mike? I mean,
I used to stream on Twitch. Yeah.
How would you compare the two platforms? I mean, obviously you're gonna favor Mixer, but I mean, just as someone who streamed across both platforms, what would your thoughts be?
Well, I think Twitch has done an amazing job in the product that they create and the feature set that they have. Nobody can deny that. Mixer is a different type of, I think, community, and it's a new platform with some differentiation, basically zero latency, and a community that's, I wasn't huge into streaming, and I was a total newbie when I joined Mixer, and who I am probably dictates some of that, but I see new people getting embraced all the time on Mixer in ways that I think it's hard for huge companies like Twitch to do, because in every network, every single one, including ours, there are people that drive negativity instead of positivity, and you got to manage that. And so I think Twitch has done a wonderful job. I'm glad they're on our platform. And I think Mixer has the differentiation, the uniqueness that's drawing more and more attention, and I love that too.
That's awesome.
Now, not in this update, but the one previously, you guys got rid of Snap because you felt that you could do things faster, right? Be able to move different things around. You added overlays or picture-in-picture. People in chat want to know, is there any chance that you could bring Snap back as picture-in-picture? Or is this going to be one of those things where you say, hey, go to user voice and put it there and have people vote on it?
Well, you can do almost anything in software, and so the capability is in software is there to do a number of things. People need to vote that up. We didn't remove Snap just because of performance. That was a piece of it for sure. Snap took a lot of memory. It slowed the overall system down. The other thing that we saw as we engaged with app vendors that were using Snap is they were leaving that feature. They weren't engaging with it because the usage was very, very low. And so the apps that did work in Snap, in their next versions, they were going to move away from that already. And so we took that data and we took the performance data and we made the decision to remove it all up. And I still believe that's the right decision in terms of where we are today and the performance that we have and the momentum of where app vendors were going. And if people want some kind of picture-in-a-picture element, again, vote that up. We watch it. We know that there is a very passionate, vocal set of people that use that feature and want that feature a lot. It's just a matter of how we prioritize that going forward and satisfying the most customers.
It's interesting though, because I wrote a speculative article a few months ago where, just as you guys cancelled Snap Mode, Windows 10 announced a new UWP feature called Compact Overlay Mode, which is where you can take a UWP app and then instantly squash it down into this sort of picture-in-picture mode that is always the top window. And I instantly thought, I put 2 and 2 together and maybe made 5, and I thought, oh, that's why they've removed Snap. It's because they've got a new version of Snap coming in picture-in-picture. So I just was I completely off the mark there?
Well, the base tech that's there could be used across the platform because we're all running a version of Windows 10. For us, it's just a matter of, doing that on a desktop is much different than doing it on a TV in the Xbox platform. And so there is an amount of work that has to be done. To us, it's just the feature set. What thing do we want to go do and what priority right now? And our data shows that very few people actually use Snap. We knew some of the biggest Snap apps that were on the product were moving away from that. And if we wanted to create something like that, we'd have to work with the industry to get support for that and make it a really big program. And if fans want that, they should vote it, and we will listen to that. And we're watching that closely.
Awesome.
Now, one of the biggest features that you guys introduced a couple years ago and then kind of reintroduced this past year is backwards compatibility for the 360, and recently announced it for the original Xbox. Are you surprised by how people have taken to the idea of playing your old games on your current system and having all of your Xbox games on one system instead of oh, I want to play, some game on the 360. I better plug in, the 360 and play it. Are you guys surprised by how a lot of people have taken to it? I may not enjoy it because I played all the 360 games, but I'm kind of a rare example. But it seems a lot of people really enjoy the feature.
I'm not surprised at all, because if you go back 20, 25, 30 years, every single console that came out, everyone was either upset or asked, why can't I play the games from the previous console? That's always been the case. And we knew from the feedback that people wanted to play their games. The idea of buying a game and then moving on to a next-gen platform or the next gaming device and losing the ability to play that game was something that did not resonate well with customers. Gamers want to play their games. Some of the best games out there are games from 5 or 10 years ago. And so I'm not personally surprised, because I am that person. I'd like to have my library of games and be able to play what I want, no matter when. And we created the back compat program to serve that customer need, and we're seeing a lot of usage of that. And so I'm not surprised at all. I think some people out there believe that when you go to a new system, you should just give up everything else and move forward. That's just fundamentally a little different than where we are today on Xbox. And with Xbox One X, we were committing to making sure every single game plays natively. No, just start the game and it runs across the whole Xbox One family. At E3, we announced original Xbox back compat, which I was a little bit surprised of because I didn't play those games then. I was a PC gamer back then, and so I didn't have too much knowledge about the games. But boy, some of those are really awesome too, and we're excited by the uptake that we see in those as well. So I think it's a great feature that people use a lot, and something that is very highly voted on and requested by the fans.
So, I mean, I think the feature is great. I mean, if you own a game on a previous, generation, you should be able to not have to buy it again on the current one. Another thing I wanted to ask you was about crossplay. You guys have really kind of gone and done, hey, Rocket League, we got crossplay, we got crossplay with Minecraft, with everybody. How big do you see crossplay getting? Are we going to get a situation where maybe in the future Call of Duty's crossplay with everything, or Battlefield or something, where you can get those fast matchmaking times because there's a bigger user base to pull from, and better ranked matches because there's more people, so they could find people closer to their skill level?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the bigger the multiplayer pool is, the better. Everybody wants to play with others when they play some of these games. And so in my perfect world as a gamer, I'd have one multiplayer pool out there and I'd be able to play with everybody. Now, the realities of the business and where things are going, that is not the case that will happen. But I firmly believe it's the choice of the developer. If a developer wants to support crossplay, Xbox will be the platform that enables that for them. And if any developer out there wants to have that conversation, they should contact us so that we can work together and make that happen. We won't dictate that all games must be cross-play or something like that. I think platform owners, anytime they dictate something to the developers that are making a creative game, it usually results in a suboptimal situation. So a developer can choose, do I want my game to work across PC, Xbox, Nintendo, PlayStation, you name it. And in those scenarios, we'll sit down and work with them to make it happen. But to me, it's really about developer choice and consumer choice. If the consumer wants to be able to play with larger multiplayer pools, let's figure out how to let that happen. They got to be smart when you do it. Whenever I say something like this, I get PC gamers and console gamers say, but what about input? A controller versus a keyboard and mouse is very hard. Trust that we understand that, and developers understand that. We'll leave it up to the developer's choice for how they want to implement that. So if a game is a high multiplayer game, and keyboard and mouse versus controller, people feel like there's an advantage. The developer can do something very simple like saying, hey, we're going to have controller versus controller, or keyboard and mouse versus keyboard and mouse, or we're going to let the consumer, the gamer, choose, I don't care what the input is, I'm going to play anybody because I'm okay with whatever input I'm using. That's the flexibility we have to be able to provide in order to make it fair and something that consumers will understand.
Yeah, I like that response, Jez.
I mean, I've been telling everyone for months, there's no way Microsoft are going to force keyboard and mouse players to play against controller players. It's just not fair. There's no way it's going to happen. So it's nice to get proper clarification, because you can just turn, if you've got a mouse, you can just turn faster. And you get those people who have I don't know what that keyboard converter is, but you can get like a keyboard converter for at least you could on the 360, where it converted a mouse and keyboard into a Xbox 360 controller signal. And you used to get those guys in Call of Duty who just used to run around murdering everyone because they could turn really fast.
Mm-hmm.
That is not fun. That is not a fun experience. But
yeah, to us, it's about choice, making sure the developer makes the choice for their gamers. And I think gamers speak loud and clear on this topic many times.
Yeah. That's what you guys, Lucifer X UK mentions that's what you guys do in Gears of War 4, right? There is a combined playlist for mouse and keyboard and controller, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what the stats are like for that. Like how competitive are controller players? I might need to ask the coalition about that.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I hang out with a group of people that, a couple of them are some of the best controller players I've ever seen. And this is more complex than just who's on a mouse and keyboard and who's on a controller, because let's take Overwatch, for example, a wonderful game by Blizzard that's on PC and on Xbox. The speed, the FOV, there's elements that are very different in those two versions of the game. And so the developer's going to have to really think about those things when they do this, because it can be very complex. But I've seen controller-based players in Destiny, for example, absolutely blow my mind with their precision on a controller. I mean, I'm awful at it. Rand knows, I'm awful at controller FPS. Mouse and keyboard, I'm happy to play with anybody. But there's some of those controller players that I see, and I come from PC gaming, and I know this will sound like crazy, but I'm not as convicted in my view. I used to be keyboard and mouse will dominate anyone no matter what. A medium capable player on a keyboard and mouse will be the best controller player. I don't know if that's 100% true anymore based on what I've seen firsthand. But I, like you, would love to see the data. I firmly believe keyboard and mouse is a huge advantage, hands down, massive advantage to anybody. But I would love the option to see someone, like Rojo, who's a Destiny player, play against these keyboard and mouse people and just see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I suppose in some guys it depends on the game as well, because like I can see like in Overwatch where if you've got a hero like Reinhardt who uses a big hammer, aiming's probably not as important. You could just wade in with the controller and smash people with your big hammer. The precision of a mouse is probably less necessary in some scenarios. And I think Gigantic on Xbox does have crossplay with PC, even though some of the heroes are sort of shooter type characters, but a lot of the heroes aren't. They're just sort of hack and slash RPG, and it feels like Gigantic has done a pretty good job of balancing gameplay across the two different sets of peripherals. So it's almost like unknown territory you guys are heading into with Xbox.
I think it's going to be great. Like, the more choice we give people to play the way they want to play is a wonderful thing. We've announced keyboard and mouse is going to come to Xbox. The developers, obviously, their games have to support that in order for it to work. But I think we're going to see more and more convergence of people playing the way they want to play on any device that they're on. And I'm a fan for that, but like you, I look forward to seeing some of the results. We'll certainly have to kind of adjust here and there, and I think we'll be pleasantly surprised when we see what people do.
See, imagine that, Mike. You got like you're at university, you're in your dorm room, you've got your Xbox, and then you've got your mouse and keyboard plugged into your Xbox, and you can just load up an Excel spreadsheet on your Xbox and then start mousing away with it. It's the
That's
dream,
right.
man. It's the dream.
Your console is your productivity PC in Jez's world,
Yeah, man. I got my OneNote, I got my Outlook, and then I can just flip over to a game. It's well, it's just it's just funny because like the idea of having like a full blown open app platform on console is kind of unique to Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah, well, for sure. I mean, thankfully, we have the history of Windows and the experience there, and the brilliant engineers at Microsoft there, and so certainly, I think there's a unique differentiation play that could happen there.
Awesome.
Well, you mentioned being able to play the games you want where you want them, and that's kind of also the philosophy of Xbox Play Anywhere, right? Like if you buy usually a first-party title, but there are third-party games on the Xbox, you get the Windows 10 version for free. I think that's a great idea. I know a lot of people, there's been discussion of whether that hurts Xbox as a brand, but I don't think you guys look at it that, right? You just want people to play where they want to play it. If you want to play in a PC, great. If you want to play an Xbox, great. As long as you're playing the content that you want where you want it, that's the key, right?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the ability for someone to play either on Windows or on Xbox is a great thing. I mean, I'm responsible for both those platforms. A lot of people just view me as the console platform person, but every gaming feature you see in Windows 10, from the built-in mixer, game bar, DirectX, all of that is stuff that the gaming platform team organizes and develops with each release of Windows 10 that we're doing. And so if someone wants to play the game on Windows 10, more power to them. I mean, it's usually someone that's spending a lot of money on a PC and likes the 2-foot experience, likes the mouse and keyboard experience. But if that customer is just important to us in terms of us listening about what they need and what kinds of games they want and whatnot, as the person that's in the TV. Now, that's hard for some people. Some people view that as, wow, if you put that game on Windows, then I can just buy a PC and play it. And my answer to that would be, go ahead. As the Windows platform owner for that, you're a customer I want to make happy no matter what platform you're on. And if someone buys it on the console, that's awesome too. And so with Xbox Play Anywhere, as you say, you pay for the game once. You don't have to pay for it twice, and you can play it anywhere you are. I get a lot of great feedback from people that travel on business and take a gaming laptop with them, and they're like, hey, I don't have to take my console with me and worry about the cables and what kind of TV I'm going to have in my hotel room and elements like that, because they just play on that. And so I love that flexibility. I mean, I do that myself. Like when I'm going to Gamescom, I'm going to take the Windows 10 gaming PC with me and catch up on. I mean, I've got a lot of Windows 10 games. Like a Walking Dead, I got to go through Voodoo Vince. I got the new Batman that just came out. Tumbleweed, City Skylines. I mean, I even have Dead Rising 4 that I haven't played through yet. So I'm going to get a lot of catch up there in Germany.
I played Killer Instinct on the plane, and I was just like, yes, this is the future. Killer Instinct on the plane.
Yeah, I mean, KI too. Yeah.
I was amazed the in-flight Wi-Fi could handle it, bro. There you go.
Yeah, me too. I mean, geez, that's crazy.
The Killer Instinct is something else. But yeah.
Well, Mike, we don't want to take up any more of your precious time because you got to go out there and make Xbox better for all the gamers out there. I will leave you with one last question that I saw someone post in chat. Are there any plans of actually be able to deal with this recent rise of spam bots that have kind of been plaguing Xbox Live recently?
Yeah, so this it's a tough scenario. I think on Twitter I said this is a network that's attacking all networks, not just Xbox Live, and we're aware of it and we're working on it, as hard as we can right now.
All right. Any final things you want to say to all the Xbox fans out there before you head off to do some work?
No, I want to thank everybody that's in the alpha of preview, because I know there's an element of patience that has to be there. And I say this a lot, and I don't think people really understand it, but your feedback and the input you give us really helps us build this product together. And I think that's something that the engineering team at Xbox across both Windows and the console values a lot. So thanks to everybody that's in the alpha ring. We will expand that to a lot more people very soon. So I'll proactively thank all of them right now. Please give us the feedback. Be honest. If you like something, say it. If you don't like something, say it. And make sure you do it on the forums and not my Twitter, because my Twitter's crazy and I can't read all of that. But we do look at everything in the forum. And if we can do a better job, let us know, because we're committed to doing that.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Mike. It was a pleasure. It was awesome. So I hope we didn't get you in trouble in any way. I don't want you to hang up here and then have Phil get angry at you.
No. I'm smart enough to know what I can say and what I can't say. Most of the time. I'll say most of the time. And I know chat had a lot more questions. I wasn't watching chat. I sort of let Rand and Jez drive that. So maybe I come on later on and we can answer some more questions at some point.
Yeah,
sorry
guys,
to anybody that didn't
follow
get
Mike
there.
on. Oh, sorry, Mike. I was just going to say, guys, people should follow you on Mixer. I put Mike's Mixer link in the chat, and because you did a big Q&A on Mixer the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, what I do on Mixer is when a new game or certainly a new update comes out, a few hours before the build goes out, I'll be on Mixer and I'll walk through some of it so people have a little bit of an idea of what to expect when they get that on their build. It was the first time I did that. It was totally not planned, kind of like this. I just saw your retweet of Rand's thing. I was like, okay, I'll join. And, here I am. So that's a little dangerous, but, I do those and it's very informal. I love interacting with our gamers out there that play on our platform. And so I try to find enough time to stay in touch with that, because I think at all levels in Xbox, from execs, down to brand new intern employees or college hires. We all need to be aware of what our gamers want and what they're feeling and act to that. And so thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that here today.
Well, thank you, Mike. Hopefully we can have you back on to talk about the X after everybody gets their hands on that true 4K powerful machine you guys are putting out on November 7th.
Yeah, let's do it on November 7th. I'll be here.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone in chat. Talk to you later.
Wow, Jez. That was pretty cool.
We had the Mike Ybarra in chat just randomly. That was just totally not even vaguely planned.
I didn't have any questions planned. Like, if I had known Mike wanted to come on to do some sort of informal kind of, I would have like questions written up so I didn't sound like an idiot when I was asking them. You know what I mean?
It's funny. Mike was like, saying he'll join. I'm like trying to DM him, and it's like, oh, what's going on? But see, that's the awesome thing about Xbox, right? Is that Microsoft used to be this really sort of insular, unreachable company where like things like Windows Vista happened, but now they've sort of taken this shift towards getting genuinely honest feedback from the community, from just regular gamers at all levels, from esports pros to just people who play like maybe a game a couple of times a month, because it's like Mike says that it's not just the hardcore kind of gamer people who are listening to this podcast. We're actually in the minority, of people who actually use Xbox. So for the Xbox team to put themselves out there, and actually engage with just regular fans and stuff, that's how Xbox is sort of building up to where it is now, with all the features that basically everyone's asked for. Like I've heard, people at Xbox have told me that the engineering effort behind backwards compatibility doesn't make a lot of financial sense. People at Xbox have told me that, but it's something that people wanted and something that people asked for. So they delivered it, and you get that on the Windows side of things as well, because Windows has its own user feedback and its own insider program. So, wow, I'm just surprised.
I don't even know how do we follow that up, man.
I don't ever follow that. How do you follow up Mike?
Do we even want to talk about Lawbreakers being PC numbers being less than Battleborn? I mean, do we even want to?
We can sum that up quite quickly. Lawbreakers sucks. Like next.
No. Why don't since this was all about the Xbox update and Mike talked about, let's talk about, because we'll end the show pretty soon. We don't want to stay long. A lot of people are probably really trying to digest what Mike just said. So let's give our thoughts about the new Xbox update.
Right.
You have a video that you posted on YouTube on the Windows Central channel that is doing phenomenally well. You went over all the features. Briefly, just kind of go over what you like about the update and maybe what you didn't like.
Well, I think we touched on it during the chat with Mike. I mean, one of the features that I really like I actually do like the Blades interface, even though I said to Mike there's an extra step to jump through now. But the fact is that now they've split it between friends and clubs and stuff like that, it's actually easier to jump through to your clubs than it was before, rather than trying to scan over this whole list. And UI designers, they call it cognitive load. Like they want to reduce the amount of information that's there. So by splitting clubs and friends into two different lists, they've reduced the cognitive load there. So even though like the logical part of your brain is saying, oh, that's an extra step now, the actual sort of subconscious cognitive load, quote unquote, it actually should feel more streamlined over time when you get used to it. I think that's another part of the design philosophy behind that. So I really like the new guide. I think it's very well polished, and it's if they do add the affluent transparency to it, it's going to look absolutely gorgeous when you play it using it over a game. Like Mike mentioned that I complained about the huge gray bar that splits the home screen in two. I can't stand that. I absolutely cannot stand that. And it sounds like Microsoft are going to change it and iterate on it, so that's a good thing. I'm also not a fan of the big scrolling thing at the top. It looks like an unpopulated WordPress template. Some of the elements overlap as well. So that is clearly a work in progress. So it's too early days to complain about that right now. Mike said that the algorithms aren't ready for those suggested friend buttons and stuff. So I'll reserve judgment on those. But yeah, I hate having friends suggested to me. I just hate it. It sounds kind of antisocial, but if there's someone I want to be friends with, they're on my friends list probably, you know. So I find it patronizing. But it's like Mike said, there are people who maybe they've only just joined Xbox, maybe they've linked their Facebook to their Xbox, because that's something you can do as well. You can link your Facebook and your Twitter to your Xbox, and if other Xbox users have done that, then it will find their gamer tags for you. And that's what that button is for. It's more for maybe newcomers to Xbox. So maybe that won't be there so much once they've tweaked the algorithm. So overall, it's a positive step. I think the people who are freaking out about it must think this is the final version. We have to take this as it's like the Windows fast ring, you know, the Windows 10 inside a fast ring, because it's exactly the same. When the Windows 10 inside a fast ring, you know, when it's a new wave, the first build is always so buggy, so unpolished, and so broken, you know. And it's like that. This is the alpha ring on Xbox. This is the cutting edge of bugginess and unpolish, you know. And it's our job as alpha ring testers, and I am an alpha ring tester as well, you know. And I've been leaving feedback and emailing people and leaving surveys and stuff. If you're on the alpha ring on Xbox, it's your job, you know, to leave them bug reports. So that's what I think. What do you think, Rand? Because you've also got a video on the dashboard.
Yeah, so I like the look of Home. I'm a fan of minimalist design. The only thing I would kind of really change about Home, other than like the suggested French things which you mentioned, is I want a full screen image. I want that gone. But like, I'm fine with how it currently looks. I just want a full screen image. I'm not going to use content blocks, because that's just not who I am.
You're not going to use them?
No, I don't really see the point. Like I see content blocks as like if you play something, say if you played Overwatch every day, you'd put that on there, or Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that. I don't really play the same game all the time. I kind of jump around. So I usually kind of go to my games and apps, since I have 900 some odd games, to kind of pick out what I want to play. Usually something newer, you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't appeal to me, but I could see it appealing to a lot of other people that do play a single game all the time, that want to have that there. I do hope that they let you pin like Netflix and HBO Go, YouTube on there, because a lot of people use those apps because you currently can't. But as it is right now, I like the highlighted glow, and I like the home screen. I just wish that it was full screen. Now, the guide itself, I like how fast it is, but it seems everything takes an extra step to get to where you want. Like, you open up the guide, you tab over once, and then you got to press A to see your friends. Whereas before it was you press the button once and you hit down and you could see your friends. Even like taking screenshots and game DVR all require an extra step. Now you're in a game and you bring up the guide button, you then have to press the menu button to bring up, you know, the screenshot stuff. Whereas before it was X and Y. It was X to record or Y for a screenshot, and then kind of the game DVR, like, so things have changed to make it go, to make you use more steps, which I'm not particularly a big fan of. But if it's at the sake, like Mike said, of speed and ease of use, then I'll get used to it. It's just like initially that kind of like threw me for a loop. Now the community thing, I only want to see what people are playing. I'm not interested in seeing people's clips or people's status updates and stuff like that. So like, I just have.
You don't want to read my status updates?
I mean, no, I get your status update because we're friends, but I don't want to see. I don't want to see a clip that a popular, you know, YouTuber uploaded that I'm not friends with. You know, the thing that the Xbox algorithm thinks is popular, so it puts it in your feed, a screenshot stuff. Like, I have mine just because you can filter all that stuff. So I have mine to just friends. Like, so when friends do something, I'll see it because that's what I care about is my friends on the Xbox.
I don't know. I don't care on Xbox. Have I?
Yeah. We're friends. We're friends. I like the idea of being able to bulk move all your content from hard drive to hard drive, and you know, being able to choose your NAT settings is great. So there's a lot of like great things about it, and I mean, I know people. You're not gonna make everybody happy. That's kind of, what they have to work with. They know that not everyone's going to be happy, and some people are going to like things one way, and some people are going to like things the other way. And they kind of just got to do the best at what they feel for Xbox, and this new version is what they feel is the best. But man, we did get a lot of great information out of Mike. No pre-order information though. I didn't think we would.
I didn't. Thing is, I'm so used to doing these interviews now. It's kind of like you just sort of know what questions aren't going to get an answer, and that's one of them. When you get like bigger outlets like IGN, they'll have pre-planned an answer to that question, because and they'll have that announcement as an exclusive, So it's Mike's obviously not authorized to say that, but I don't think we're going to be waiting too much longer. The other day I said I tweeted something like, "Get your wallets ready, Xbox fans." I didn't tweet that for any particular reason. It was just like because the pre-orders could happen any day now, and people thought I was leaking something. It's like, why does everyone think I'm just this chronic leaker now? Why do people think that, Rand? Even Mike thinks it.
I don't know. Christopher Russell says that take a screenshot and clip are the same steps. Interesting, because when maybe it is. I'll have to retest it, but I could have sworn it was an extra step. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah, man. I don't even know. We should probably just end the show, and just leave it as an interview with Mike about the dashboard and all that cool stuff. Is there anything else you want to mention quickly? Before we head out of here. I don't know. If you guys want to win a load of free stuff, we're doing a free code Friday Mixer stream on Friday on mixer.com/Windows Central. Co-streaming with a chap from Xbox Live, Justin Roby, who is he's currently producing Age of Empires HD, and we're going to give away a ton of stuff, ton of codes. We're giving away Recore and a load of other stuff, and just tons of games. So, and we're also giving away one of those new controllers. We gave away the Volcano Shadow controller, I think it's called. Did you?
Yeah, we did. We gave away Volcano Shadow controller, and if you want to win one of the other new controllers, we'll be giving those away too on Friday. So, yeah, jump on and follow mixer.com/Windows Central and win stuff on Friday. Basically,
they always give away. You guys always do pretty good giveaways.
Pretty good.
Really good. Yeah, really good giveaways.
Good.
As for me, I'll have a Hellblade review up tomorrow. I'm currently playing through that in the PS4. Lawbreakers was broken on PS4.
Is it broken?
I think they patched it today, so I might play some more of that. I also am going to be checking out.
What is just quickly? What is the drama with Lawbreakers? I don't know.
So I think it's fixed, but they had this hitching issue. So whenever somebody would pick a different character, it would lag the game for everybody, and we're talking major lag, frame rate drop. So when the game runs at 60 and it constantly is hitching to 30 and 20. It's very noticeable and unplayable. So I think they fixed it, but I will. I'll have a review out for Hellblade. I think I'm halfway through it. But yeah. Geez.
Is it a walking sim? Someone said Flip Bayless said it's a walking sim.
Kind of. I mean, you
what
do.
What is it with you and walking sims, man?
No, no. I mean, there's walking in every game, right? You call Call of Duty a walking simulator because you do have to walk.
It's a sprinting game. There's no walking Call of Duty.
No, I mean there are areas. It is. You do walk a lot in that game, but there's also the combat and things like that. There's actually quite a bit of combat, but I could see why somebody would call it a walking simulator. But I would not in that sense, not in the sense of either Fincher or Gone Home. I mean, that's just kind of not what it is. But this game is heavy on narrative, so I mean, you knew I would like it.
Can you cut things with a big sword or shoot things?
You do cut things with your sword.
Okay,
it's an action game.
That's okay then.
You kill people.
I'm interested now.
You kill people.
Okay. All right, I'm good. I'm interested. Are there any chainsaws in the game?
Not that I've come across yet.
Well, it won't
no chainsaws.
10 now then.
But you do. It's one of the few games where I play everything with headphones on. Right. This game is a must to have headphones on because she hears voices in her head, and the sound design is so incredible that when you have the headphones on, they're in your head. and it adds such a like the game even recommends at the start screen like this game.
Are you
is better.
sure? Are you sure that's in the game and not just you?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying it's got some really incredible sound design because it deals with psychosis, mental disorders. So
Is
as
it
you're
coming to
playing,
Xbox?
I don't know. When they first announced it, it was supposed to be first to PS4. So I'm assuming so. There's nothing really saying that's exclusive to PlayStation. So this game looks like it's expensive to make too because it looks really good. And I'm playing it on the Pro, and they have an option for higher resolution or 60 frames. So I'm currently playing it with the 60 frames instead of the higher resolution. But yeah, if it does come to Xbox, I mean, I'll probably play it again. But look for that review tomorrow. Once again, I just wanted to thank Mike Ybarra for coming on here and talking about all things Xbox, ranging from the Xbox the dashboard update, Spotify, Xbox One X. I mean, we pretty much asked him everything that's going on about Microsoft and Xbox and all that stuff. So it was a
I'll
great.
Mike a drink, man. I'll buy Mike some kind of beverage at Gamescom, no doubt.
Yeah. So you know, if you haven't liked the video already, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more content, as I do post daily stuff, reviews, opinion videos, and like new stuff. Man, this is probably one of the best episodes we did, and it's all because of Mr. Ybarra. So thank you again for coming on. Episode 20. It's a good milestone. Thank you for everybody who donated using Super Chat during the question session. Sorry if we didn't get to your thing, or if we didn't see it. Chat was moving really fast. Sometimes I didn't get a chance to see it. So, but it is much appreciated. And with that, me and Jez are going to end the show, and we will see you next week for episode 21, where we'll talk about whatever the heck we want to talk about.
Damn right, bro.
All right, have a good one, guys.